Ooh, I need to be more easy on this couch. I keep forgetting that RV furniture is very fragile. Anyways, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming a little bit of a different kind of video in my RV where I talk about 10 things you probably don't know about me. Most of my videos that I've filmed so far are of me doing things, but the last video I posted was of me just chit-chatting out by my garden and while I planted some wildflowers and veggies, and I really enjoyed that type of content. It seems like you guys did too. So a little bit casual, kind of more of get to know me type content, so that's what we're gonna do. Plus, who doesn't love random facts about people and getting to know someone that they find interesting? Okay, so the first random piece of information about me is that I am obsessed with iced coffee. You've probably heard me talk about it before, or actually just coffee in general. I probably started drinking coffee when I was, I don't know, after I had my first kid, which was pretty young, so probably like 19 or 20, like a little bit after I had my first child. And something about it, I mean, of course, yes, it's the flavor, but it also something about it just puts me in a good mood. And I don't think it's just the caffeine because I've tried other alternatives when I've tried to give up coffee, like tea or matcha, and I do like matcha a lot actually. And I've been drinking it. But it's just not the same as coffee, especially iced coffee. I get mine with 3 cream. If I'm getting it from Dunkin' Donuts, I get 3 cream and 2 mocha. I don't, oh, and half decaf. I try not to have too complicated of a coffee order because I can only imagine that's kind of annoying for the workers. But at the same time, I really want it to be just to my liking. I get so annoyed when they mess up my order, but I'm always like trying to be so nice to them because you know what they do behind the scenes. I'm sure they spit in your coffee or put something gross in it. Same thing at restaurants. I try not to be rude to the wait staff. Well, I'm just not a rude person in general, but I try not to like send my food back even because I'm kind of nervous that they're going to do something gross. You never know what's going to happen back there. But yeah, love me some coffee. It's the way to my heart. So, the second random fact about me is that before I started posting on social media, I was a dental hygienist. Um, I had been doing that since 2008 and really liked it actually. I was really good at my job. I loved the patients. I liked how step by step dental hygiene was. It was so satisfying to clean people's teeth and get all the tartar off. And I don't know, it was just something about it was really nice. And I never used to use social media like really personally. Like I had Instagram and Facebook, but I didn't post on them very much. Definitely didn't post like reels or anything, just like little pictures of like my family and little updates like that. But my sister actually started posting on social media and was having a really good time with it. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'll give that a try. So I did, and the rest is history. I really found out that I was pretty good at it and liked being creative. I was able to use the creative part of my brain to come up with different ideas and things to talk about and ways to film and really liked it. And then I was like, maybe I can do this full time. And I ended up leaving my dental hygiene job. So that sometimes I miss it. I don't miss having to leave the house to go to work every day or to have someone else as a boss. That part I do not miss. I love being my own boss. I like being able to travel and do whatever I want when I want to. Of course, I still have to have good time management because otherwise I would get nothing done. And I do juggle a lot. But I'd rather tell myself what to do than have to listen to somebody else. I'm just so thankful that I took the risk and started posting on social media, even at almost 40 years old, and now I'm 40. So, yeah, it's never too late to start something that you've always wanted to try. That's the moral of that story. So, next up is just a little something about when I travel. So, most women end up overpacking when they go somewhere. I, on the other hand, notoriously underpack. And it doesn't end up becoming a problem. It's just funny because I'm super simple, really down to earth. I could pretty much just live with not very much at all. I don't need a lot to be happy or to survive, really. So while most women bring tons of makeup and all these hair products and tons every different outfit under the sun, I'm good with like just a few basics and I'll make the rest work. And plus I always know that there's always a plan B. I can always go to a store usually if I need to, or I just deal without it. As long as I have the non-negotiables, I'm fine and can make it work. But I prefer to travel light anyways cuz I just want to be on the go. I like to stay busy, I like to stay moving, and I love being spontaneous. And if I have all these extra, my water's being delivered. If I have all these extra things tying me down, it's gonna take me a lot longer to get to where I'm going. So I prefer to travel light. So my favorite TV shows are actually, I don't really watch TV series. So my favorite thing to watch on TV is YouTube. Every single night when I get into bed, most nights actually, sometimes I'll watch Netflix, but most of the time I find myself going down these crazy YouTube rabbit holes. And lately I've been watching, this is so random, but lately I've been watching a lot of police body cam footage. Don't ask me why. I somehow came up on my FYP on my homepage and I got hooked and I was like, I've been watching that for the last few nights. Just a bunch of police body cam stuff. It's so interesting though to see like these real life, unfiltered, unedited views of what happens with the police and what they have to do every day. So I find that really interesting. But yeah, I don't really watch a lot of movies. I can't remember the last movie I watched. I really love, this is going to sound so basic and like every other girl probably, but I really do love true crime. I could watch Dateline, 2020, 48 Hours, 4 hours. I listen to mostly true crime podcasts, some business podcasts, financial podcasts, because I think that's always good to be in the know about what's going on with that in your life. But I don't really watch series, mostly documentaries. I like learning. I love learning. So, my guilty pleasure is eating a pint of Ben and Jerry's straight out of the container. I'm sure you've done this before too. Let's be real. I feel most people have. My favorite Ben and Jerry's flavor is Coffee Heath. It is so good, but I feel like they're like phasing it out, so it's kind of harder to find. But when I do find it, everyone in the house knows it's mine. I don't even have to write my name on it or anything. And it's just in the freezer, and whenever I want, I just go and I just eat straight out of the container. And I will say I have eaten a whole entire container of Ben and Jerry's before, possibly on multiple occasions. But I don't get it that often, but it is my favorite flavor and it is so good, and that's my guilty pleasure. Okay, so my biggest fear is drowning. Ever since I was younger, that's something I've always had as like this fear, and I hope it's not a premonition or anything like that, but I'm not like a huge fan of water when it comes to like swimming and stuff. Maybe that's why, but I don't know, something about the idea of like, I just have this fear of like my hands and legs being tied together and being underwater and not being able to swim up to the top or breathe is so scary to me. My second biggest fear is probably the dark, believe it or not. I don't like being out at nighttime and like walking around by myself in the dark. Absolutely not. I just, for some reason, when I do that, I think of all those like 80s horror movies. Jason, Freddy Krueger, when they're all like camping, and that's always when someone gets killed. And that just repeats in my brain, and I can't unsee it. So I just try to avoid doing that. My dream trip would have to be, if it's an RV trip, my dream trip is to go to Vancouver Island. I never even realized how beautiful and tropical looking it was until like a year ago. My friend told me that's where she wanted to go, and I was like, huh, I've heard of Vancouver, but not Vancouver Island. So, sure enough, I looked it up on Instagram, of course, and saw just the most beautiful views you've ever seen in your life. And I'm like, that's within driving distance. I need to go there. Granted, it is across the entire country, but that's just an excuse for me to go on a road trip. And I might actually be going there this summer. So, if I do, would you like me to make a video about my travels there? I'm not sure if people want to see travel content from me. So I'm kind of feeling this out. So I need a feedback from you guys. Like when I go on trips, do you guys want to see little behind the scenes things about the trip and what I liked about the trip, what I didn't like, what to do while you're there, what wasn't great? Let me know in the comments if you want more of that type of content, and I can definitely make it for you. If it's a trip on an airplane, I think the place I would probably want to go first or most right now is Greece. I always see those super beautiful pictures of like Santorini with like the blue water and like the all those little colorful houses in that village near the on the cliffs near the water, and that just looks so quaint and pretty, and that's where I really want to go. That involves flying. Can't get there in my RV, unfortunately. So, something about me that might annoy most people is I take really long showers, and the showers I take are really hot. So, my average shower time is probably like 30 minutes. I don't know if that's long for most people, but I feel like it is. But there's just something so relaxing about standing underneath the nice hot stream while it flows over me. It's like the time I don't have to hear anybody saying my name, needing something from me, or I don't have to do anything except for just be. And I savor every last drop, savor every moment of it. Trust me, I stretch out that time to the extreme. And thankfully, the water heater in my house works really well, and I don't ever run out of hot water. And the one in the RV, I have to be a little bit faster because otherwise I'd go through a whole tank of water. And that's a little inconsiderate. So I do take quicker showers in the RV, but in the house, we're talking at least 30 minutes. All right, so this might be an unpopular opinion, but something I'm really not a fan of is the beach. I grew up around the beach. So where I grew up, there's a beach within 5 miles from my house, any direction. And I would go when I was younger and loved playing in the sand and in the water and the waves and stuff. But as an adult, for some reason, I just don't really like it. Like, I guess I could picture going there with a good book because I love to read and sitting on the sand, like in a comfortable chair for a while. I could do that as long as I have snacks. But I like to have some shade because I don't like baking in the sun. I'm really conscientious about like my skin and making sure I wear sunscreen and all that. I'm trying to be healthy. But I just don't like the idea of sitting there for hours and hours and hours. I'm also really kind of afraid of swimming in salt water. I'm not really afraid of sharks, even though there are a lot of sharks in the water near me. Mostly I'm just scared of crabs biting my toes and jellyfish stinging me. It has happened before. Now, I've never been bit by a crab, but I have been stung by a jellyfish, and that hurts. You know what I learned? This is so random, but if you get stung by a jellyfish, urine is supposed to apparently help make it feel better. How random is that? But yeah, so not a huge fan of the beach. I can take it in small doses, but I would much rather be in the woods. The forest is my happy place. I could go hiking in the woods and just hanging out all day. Okay, next up, I have my most embarrassing travel moment for you. So I had just pulled into this quiet, quaint little campground. It was super hot out. I was in Louisiana. Pull in. Before I even get out to set up, plug in, or set up all my hoses, I was so hot, so sweaty. So I decided I needed to just strip down out of all my clothes into the bare minimum, and I mean the bare minimum. And I turn around and I forgot to close my blinds. And I look out and I see this older couple just sitting on their campsite, sipping their coffee. We made eye contact. I turned red as a beet, immediately closed the blind, and I still haven't recovered. It was so embarrassing. And I had to spend the whole weekend there just looking them in the eyes, like, yeah, you saw everything about me, so nice to meet you. They were cool about it. They didn't mention it at all, thankfully, because I would have been even more mortified. But next time I have to remember before changing to put the blinds down. I never forget after that. Okay, so the last random fact about me is that when I was younger, I used to play the cello. I miss it so much, actually. I thought about, well, I actually did get another cello as an adult, um, but it ended up, I ordered it online, which was stupid. I should have gone in person to the local strings instrument store because it ended up being a little bit too big for me, the size that I ordered. But I do plan on getting another one because something about it was so much fun and so satisfying to like feel the vibrations and things like that. So I'll probably get back into it someday. I love music and I also really want to learn how to play the piano. So those are the two instruments I need to get soon, hopefully, is a piano and a cello. All right, it's your turn now. Go ahead and drop a comment and tell me one random fact about you. And don't forget to subscribe for more.